The rise of cryptocurrency is a phenomenon that rocked the whole world. It is changing the way we view currencies and the roles of the government. It makes the financial and economic systems change and evolve. With the rise of cryptos like Bitcoin, all traditional institutions are starting to invest in it and its potential. Even the government is starting to integrate Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to their systems. The possible biggest integration of these coins to our daily lives is yet to come, and it could be in the form of Bitcoin being the new world reserve currency. Thank you for watching Diversified Streams, your go-to YouTube channel for all things crypto and finance. Be sure to check out our community post about these subjects. We are curious to know your opinions on these matters. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest news and tips related to crypto. And make sure to keep your notifications on so you'll be updated with our latest videos. We frequently post so you wouldn't want to miss them. In today's video, we will be talking about how BTC can be the next world reserve currency. We are going to talk about the IMF and its paper that tackles the possibility of alternative currencies and cryptocurrencies to be the next world reserve currency, especially now that the dollar is approaching the tail end of its 100-year timeline. We have a lot to talk about, so let's start digging. Before we start, let me first explain what the IMF, or the International Monetary Fund, is. It is a global financial organization made up of 190 nations. The official goal of the IMF is to maintain global financial stability, but the dominance of the US dollar is virtually a must for the IMF's concept of financial stability. This is so because the Bretton Woods Conference, at which 44 nations agreed that the US dollar would replace the British pound as the world's reserve currency, resulted in the creation of the IMF. More precisely, these 44 nations consented to link their money to the US dollar, which in turn would be linked to and convertible into gold. The IMF's practical goal, as noted in a recent opinion post by CoinDesk, has been to incorporate as many nations as possible into the dollar-based Western economic order. The IMF accomplishes this through lending money to developing nations, principally those in Latin America and Africa, and especially those that are struggling economically. IMF loans are subject to a number of requirements, such as liberalization so that foreign firms can operate there. The IMF is not at all a lover of cryptocurrencies, as you would have anticipated. Simply put, it enables people and institutions to rebel against the Western economic order. Since El Salvador became Bitcoin legal tender last year, the IMF has been particularly vocal in its opposition to the use of cryptocurrencies by other nations. If you look it up online, there is a ton of evidence. Let me give you a quick rundown of the paper that IMF published entitled The Stealth Erosion of Dollar Dominance, Active Diversifiers and the Rise of Non-Traditional Reserve Currencies. The IMF likely produced this study for a number of reasons, including the general decrease in the US dollar supremacy over the past few decades and the recent sanctions against Russia's central bank in response to the nation's invasion of Ukraine. The IMF study begins by outlining how the US dollar's appeal to the world economy has been declining ever since the Bretton Woods Accord broke down. When then-President Richard Nixon made the announcement that the US government would temporarily revoke the ability for people and institutions to change dollars to gold. In any case, the authors of the article emphasized that, despite Bretton Woods' fall, the dollar is still the world's reserve currency since there were essentially no other options. However, because of how popular they have been over the past few decades, currencies like the euro and the Chinese yuan have emerged as prospect rivals. The author made it clear that the paper's focus is on the makeup of central banks' holdings of foreign currency, or how much of each type of currency they possess. The authors also cited the buildup of more speculative assets, such as equities, and the absence of enticing interest rates for US and international government bonds, as justifications for decreasing central banks' exposure to US dollars. In any case, the IMF's paper's second section examines a few more reasons that might be causing the US dollar to weaken. The key conclusion from the IMF paper's third section, which I won't repeat here, is that the 2008 financial crisis appears to have accelerated the trend away from the US dollar. The IMF paper's third section uses statistics to analyze the composition of central banks' reserves over time, and all of this makes perfect sense. That's because 2008 marked the first occasion when the Federal Reserve was compelled to print trillions of dollars in order to stop the collapse of the world markets. The fourth section of the IMF report, which examines whether variables at a country level are contributing to the shift away from the dollar. In any case, the IMF's paper's fifth section which discusses the emergence of non-traditional reserve currencies, is the one that most closely ties to cryptocurrencies. The dollar worth of non-traditional currencies on central bank balance sheets has risen from 30 million in 1999 to over 1.2 trillion now, according to a ludicrous number that the author used to introduce this section. That's 20 times if my mental calculations are correct. A table identifies the currencies that have gotten the biggest pieces of the pie, and the authors emphasize that the shift toward non-traditional currencies truly took off in 2008. In any case, the IMF Paper 6 section examines potential explanations for central banks' recent abandonment of the dollar in favor of non-traditional currencies. The majority of these are related to how central banks are reporting their foreign exchange reserves and how central banks are calculating their foreign exchange reserves specifically. The consequences of counting central banks that hold very few US dollars, exchange rate effects, and interest rate effects. The short version is that they didn't discover much proof that this is a factor in the effect that they are experiencing. The paper ends with a brief conclusion that seems to be focused on the claim that the Chinese renminbi is displacing the US dollar, which the authors refute based on the evidence they provided in some quotes. All of this suggests that if dollar dominance ends, the greenback could be destroyed by a wide range of alternative currencies rather than just the dollar's direct competitors. The authors also stress that the demise of the dollar is only a scenario and not a prediction, and the mere fact that they felt the need to mention this indicates clearly which way the wind is blowing. Now, do you believe that the dollar is really declining? With this in mind, do you think that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency may take the place of dollars as the world reserve? Let us know what you think by commenting below this video. And while you're at it, check if you have liked this video and if you're already subscribed to our channel. If you're not, better do it now so you'll be part of our growing community. This brings up the key query, which is how Bitcoin might develop into a reserve currency. First off, it is obvious that the central banks are abandoning dollars in favor of conventional currencies. I believe it is safe to think that they are doing this because the US dollar, one of the largest fiat currencies, is on its way out, and the fear of sanction isn't helping either. The market capitalization of Bitcoin, which is by definition a non-traditional currency, is comparable to that of many of the non-traditional guarantees held by central banks. For instance, the total M1 money supplies of Canada and Australia are each less than $2 trillion. And although if Bitcoin hasn't reached that point yet, it most likely will in a few years. Additionally, the crypto business is improving, if not entirely inventing, many of the military technologies that are making it feasible to effectively switch between non-traditional currencies. Although BTC does not fit well into the current foreign exchange framework, this might also be the case in a few years when more assets, including fiat currencies, get tokenized. The fact that Bitcoin is neutral is the cherry on top. Central banks won't ever have to be concerned about having their BTC holdings frozen or having their BTC transactions prohibited by other nations. Ignore the fact that many nations are exploring making Bitcoin legal tender, and some are even considering allowing it as a form of payment in international trade, another reason why central banks keep dollars on their balance sheets. So assuming Bitcoin can function as a currency, I predict it will eventually enter the non-traditional currency category. Once it does, it's quite possible that BTC's share of this non-traditional currency will increase in a similar exponential way to non-traditional currency holdings or central bank balance sheets. This translates to a Bitcoin market cap in the tens of millions of dollars, which is roughly the M1 money supply for the US dollar. It also represents a 20 times increase over a 20-year period. Not to mention that the move to non-traditional currencies has likely been accelerated by the pandemic money creation, and the next financial crisis will undoubtedly add fuel to the fire. I realize this may sound absurd, but if all of my suppositions prove to be true, BTC may seriously consent to replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency between 2030 and 2045. And ironically, this coincides with the anticipated decline of the US dollar's role as the world's reserve currency. Although there's a long way to go before we get to that point, and there will probably be a lot of volatility in the interim, I personally believe that it is achievable. Well, there's a lot of hope for Bitcoin to be the next world reserve currency. Although we still have a long way to go, everything seems promising at the moment. However, I want to remind everyone that our videos should be taken as additional information only. Before you enter into any transactions, please let your financial advisor know first. And that is it for today's video. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. As always, if you did, please show us some love and support by giving this video a big thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. And make sure to keep your notifications on so you will be updated whenever we post new videos on all things related to crypto.
This has been Diversified Streams. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in our next video.